And we're back. We got news. Man.
It's the dawning of the age of toyness.
Yeah.
And aquariums.
Toyness and aquariums. Yeah. So this a couple weeks ago, Playmates Toys. You're Ryan, you're familiar with them, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, they formed a lot of our childhood memories by making the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action figures back in the day. Well, lately they've been making a bunch of TMNT mashups with popular television programs like Cobra Kai, and what was there? Maybe that was the only program they've done, because now they're starting to announce.
That one was seemingly connected. So yeah, Cobra Kai seemingly connected because martial arts turtles. Thank you.
Right.
Okay,
yes.
that was weird.
Got it.
Street Fighter.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, martial arts, fighting, turtles, sure.
Yeah.
Power Rangers. Like Power Rangers?
That's it. Yeah. Well,
Power Rangers.
They didn't do
fighting.
Power Rangers. They didn't. Playmates didn't do that. That was Hasbro that actually did that one.
Sorry, whatever.
So, but still,
the history of TMNT 2-packs with other franchises, they've all been like fighting.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense. Like martial arts, and then
Absolutely.
sure, I'll take a McDonald's toy. Yeah.
Dang, got him. Well, yeah. So they kind of break the mold a little bit, as you're saying, with dropping this a little bit with in more ways than one, with announcing that they're going to be doing a mashup with the Stranger Things cast of characters. And yeah, this is neat. We did get a tease of this, but I would have never had this on my radar that this is going to be something they were going to do.
Why would you?
Yeah, because it just, like you said, it was all about fighting, like fight. It's the same thing. It's like Itchy and Scratchy. But but here we go. They're putting out this set. So far they've got 2 sets. They've got Leo and 11 and Raphael, I think it's Raphael, and Hopper. And so, yeah, they're going to be coming out, and they are up on Target's website for $40 each, and they're set to ship in October. So the neat thing about this, and I think it's neat, it's a gimmick, it's totally a gimmick, but the cool thing is that you can flip the packaging to where it could be one or the other, could be in the upside down.
In the upside down, yeah.
Exactly.
That's cool.
And so that's actually pretty neat. And I was like, all right, cool. That's a cool thing. It's different. It's something that you're not used to seeing on the toy shelf. So I'm all about any steps towards some diversity in any form or fashion with something tried and true. So, however, I was tired of seeing all the same turtle molds, and it appears that we're getting different molds. Now, I could be wrong.
Getting a new mold.
This could be something we've gotten before.
The internet consensus seems to be that they're new molds, like that they're new actual sculpts, which,
they look like new sculpts to me. And because now
they do.
They had been using the old, like 10-year-old classics line that they put out, which were okay figures. I hated the finger and toe articulation, but other than that, they were okay. And they've just been constantly repainting those. Now these are decked out for our audio listeners to look like their 80s appearance. The red bandana, no letter on the belt, and just have a different style to them, which is really cool. And apparently that's the theme they're going with, is the 80s theme, as Stranger Things is based in the 80s. And I gotta say, I am actually a pretty big fan of these sculpts, just based on what we're seeing. How do you feel about it?
I do like the turtle sculpt. It does scream Mirage with the front tail. The big one for me is the how the thighs narrow down to the body. That is very Kevin and Peter, like early Turtles. Like that profile, like just in that picture right there, looks dead on.
Yeah.
You got turtles with beaks, which, like the Mirage style beak, which I'm a fan of.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was glad, because we haven't really talked about this until we were on the show, because we like to, keep it like as real to life as we can. And
absolutely.
So I'm glad you like these, because like I think they look great, and this is what Playmates does good. They give you good figure. They have the propensity to be able to give you good figures for the price that you're paying, because these are they're not your NECAs, they're not your other like figure arts or anything like that. They're, you know, a little bit lower tier, but Playmates has always been good with sculpt and making like really good detail in their sculpts. It's just they usually suffer on the paint side, but then you could take it upon yourself to paint up some stuff, and there's tons of, you know, customizers that do that and make these things look fantastic. Now, granted, there's not too much detail on these; they're pretty bare, but what's there is decent, and compared to the other offerings that Playmates is given us lately, I'm a pretty big fan of these. But one thing I'm really a really big fan of, especially now that like we're getting inundated with so much turtle stuff that it's like, okay, I've got a set of turtles, I've got multitudes of them. I need a little bit extra to get my buck, you know? And so thankfully, they've included some really neat accessories. Now, the Leonardo set, which again, he comes with 11, they're going to include his katana blades, two katana blades, a headset or like a Walkman, like a cassette Walkman for those who don't remember those, and headphones that fit on the Ninja Turtles themselves. Like here, I think we got an image right there, and that's really cool. And then the turtles also come with, I was not expecting this, but this is cool as hell, an Eggo waffle throwing star. That's probably like that right there is almost enough to get like take my money. You know what I'm saying? Because like that's just too cool, and that sets that apart. Now, 11's accessories are a walkie-talkie, a flashlight, and a backpack, which, you know, those are cool. You can use those for any other action figure you want to, because these are again in around 1/12 scale, so around a 6-inch scale of action figure. And now the do I have 11? Yeah, I do. Here we go. Now where things kind of take a slightly different turn is are these the actual human figures from Stranger Things. Now, this is not a bad figure by any means. This is 11 that we're looking at right now, and she, for the price and for what Playmates has done before, I think this is not the worst thing. It's not great, but it's far from the worst thing I've ever seen. It's definitely not a McDonald's toy, but it's not too far from one. It's not too far from it, but it does. I think in my opinion, I give it a little bit more of a pass. But what's your take on 11 here, Ryan?
Okay. So like, you know, first of all, I don't know if I agree for the price point.
Okay.
You know, this is $20. This is half of your 2-pack.
Yeah.
For $20, this is not a figure I want. And I'm a huge Stranger Things fan. A few things. First of all, it's very odd when Stranger Things came out with season 4 well before these figures came out. Season 4 is what people are into. Like it is reignited. Like this season has been huge for the show. Number one,
right?
I mean, between Eddie Munson and Metallica getting back into things with the Master of Puppets sequence from that last episode.
Yeah.
The Kate Bush thing, which is like relaunched that song and gotten all this stuff. Man, it's never been a worse time to be a season behind on Stranger Things when you're putting out things.
Yeah.
The things that happen. So you're talking about your Stranger Things fan who's seen the show now,
right?
They don't necessarily want an action figure of like, you know, hanging out at the mall 11.
Right.
Like the things that have happened in the show make that. I'm not trying to say that that's not cherished,
right?
But like the game's gotten a lot crazier since that stuff happened, and it's a real sour taste. Like when I see it, that's not even going to get into the sculpt. That could be anyone.
Yeah,
there is zero attempt to make that look anything like Bobby Millie Brown at all. Besides, she is a girl with brown hair, I guess. And the figure's just kind of cheap. I mean, like the way that they've sculpted the jeans she's wearing is unfortunate because it looks like she's wearing a diaper under like her jeans, like just the way it's cut.
It does.
There's just no way around that for me. The face again, I don't know what that's supposed to be, but it's not her. And I just can't be kind of swayed by a, you know, backpack and flashlight and radio, given those are things that like 11 never uses in the show. Like she
Yeah.
never is the one with the flashlight and the radio in the backpack. That'd be Lucas or Dustin or Mike or somebody who's actually Steve, anybody who's running around out there. But that's definitely more of the kids' accessories. It just feels kind of tone deaf to have this old set come out with the characters from like as they were. I mean, what, like about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when that season was coming out. I mean, like that's a long time.
That's a valid point.
It just feels.
I'm with you. I see what you're saying, and it's a valid point. The only thing, because I think we had I had seen some chatter online about this too. And
it hit the Facebook group, but it got lit.
But
in there.
But my counter to that is that, well, if you gave them 11 from this season, she would be just in that white suit, and there's not really anything.
No, it'd be bad. Go on.
I beg to differ. I don't think that anyone would really care about that.
She doesn't just wear that. She could be in her older clothes that she goes to this skating rink in. Like she wears clothes. She actually wears like
that's
her wardrobing this season actually looks a lot less stupid than that. Like because this season they weren't as focused on the like, oh my God, it's the 80s. Oh my God, everyone's wearing the worst stuff ever. Like this season was a lot more subdued.
Yeah.
And just looked like they were wearing like period correct clothes, frankly. Like it didn't look, it looked like, it's 1985, but it's not like,
it's like,
let's go to the mall and everything's Technicolor, like everything's neon. Like that's not the theme of this season at all.
It's like that meme where they're like, I grew up in the 80s, and it shows the room with all the different stuff. But then it's like, I actually grew up in there. It's just wood paneling walls.
It's just wood paneling. Everything's dark and like brown and yellow. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Like that's definitely how they got it this season. And her costuming is really cute, but it's like gingham shirts and pants and stuff like that. And it's a lot more subdued. So this just hits me wrong tone wise. And then I think, so you want your new turtle sculpt, which is, I think, obviously the luckily for us, the shining star in the 2-pack.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you make a box where the one figure is upside down. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's a box. And then you're kind of like, all right, and then it's $40. Would you pay $20 for that figure of 11?
That's the thing. See, with action figures,
I wouldn't.
Now the problem is that the stuff we were paying $20 for like a year and a half ago is now like up to $30. So this is back to where, because with inflation and all that shit, it's like just blowing this out of proportion.
Yeah,
so
but
no, I wouldn't pay $20 for this, but
you pay $30 for a NECA figure. And look at that.
Exactly. So $10
look at that
more
versus like what NECA's got.
But I guess what
it's
I'm
crazy.
saying for Playmates demographic, it's not the worst, but because they're not usually in competition with like Marvel Legends and all the stuff that Hasbro and DC, I guess Mattel doesn't have them anymore, but Mattel's stuff that they do with their wrestling figures and whatnot, they're not in that same thing. So for Mattel's, like, I think of them, or Mattel Playmates, I think of them as like a tier lower. And so for that, I'm like, okay, that's not the worst thing. But then when you bring the actual inflated price into it, it is a problem. However, to the back to the point about their outfits, I still think that Hopper's outfit is actually looks better than what he was wearing this season too. Now I get your point about being tone deaf, like how it should have been
absolutely tone deaf.
But that makes
who wants to see that Hopper right now?
But like, I feel like
it's a cherished version of Hopper. It was definitely Hopper. Basically like going on one, more or less. It was basically domestic Danny Hopper all season 3.
Oh yeah.
But like his accessories are as follows, okay? And this makes more of my point, where he's got a flashlight, an axe, a handgun, and then the bat with the nails in it.
Yeah.
Which is a season 1 and 2 thing that Steve Harrington used.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why does he have the baseball bat with the nails in it?
That's what I'm wondering.
It's stuff like that. Like the axe, like a flashlight, and his like little service revolver. No, that all fits. But then you're like, oh, let's put another one in, Steve's bat.
But then
I'm like, why?
It makes you wonder too. Why did the Turtles have the cassette player in the headphones? Like,
and the cassette player sounds like that's a reference to this season.
Exactly.
So you're like, well,
all over the place.
What it's really all over the place, and that's why, like, I know that the Facebook chat had a lot of different opinions in it, and it had people that were down, and then they had people that were up on it, and people didn't have a problem. People did have a problem. I'm not like I don't really spend my time hating on shit, and that's definitely what I want to get across here. Like I'm really in a place where like I just want things to be great, so I can be excited for them.
Exactly.
The turtle sculpts look fun, and the painter in me wants to get them and paint them, and have a blast doing it.
That's what Playmates should be doing.
They auto-release those turtles in a 2-pack where it was turtles. Yeah. And if they want to get into making Stranger Things figures, they should have done a better job.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. I once again, I'm not in the industry. You can't tell me that like they can't make a sculpt look better than those face sculpts. Hopper looks okay. 11 is unrecognizable. If you want to sell figures like that, you've got to do something better than that.
Yeah.
Like you just have to do something better than that.
The turtles are a step in the right direction, like you said. I think
the turtles are definitely, and that's the thing. But it's awkward because this just when I saw this, I was like, I had a lot come up. I was like, we're dealing with borderline, like McDonald's figures going on with, especially with 11. Hopper's better, but 11's a little rough. Yeah. And then we're also, the accessories aren't really on, and there are also like looks from last season.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just like all that combined, and it kind of also irritates me that they're gonna throw the new turtle sculpt that everyone would probably want in these packs. I'm sure they'll be available later, probably in TMNT X Golden Girls or whatever the next thing they do, TMNT X Euphoria or whatever is the next thing that they decide to do. But I want these turtles boxed separately or in 2-packs where I can buy all 4 of them.
Exactly. And
I guess,
I think that's a very
where I am.
Point. I want to read something on that because here on Turtle Soup, if you're not familiar, when we review toys, one of our favorite things is reading the back of the box.
Yeah, that flavor text. Yeah,
that flavor text. So they've got one here, so I'm going to read that real quick. It says, Eastman and Laird's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The Turtles have tracked TCRI's latest illegal experiments from New York City to Hawkins, Indiana, where it's trying to harness the power of the Upside Down. The half-shell heroes must team up with 11 and her friends to try and stop TCRI's next experiment before it succeeds. Now, that pales in comparison to what... It's cool, but it pales in comparison to what Playmates used to provide for flavor text. But nevertheless, that's still better than nothing. And it's divisive, but I got to say, I got to give it to Playmates for the turtle sculpt, but step it up on everything else, because if they could make those other figures look good, they'd be in a whole other ballgame.
It's not hard, man. If you had those figures look like something from the current season, and they looked better than they did, then I'd be on board, man. I love Stranger Things. I love the Turtles. Like this is the first property that they've crossed over here where I really care.
Exactly.
Not really into Cobra Kai, and I'm not super into collecting Street Fighter figures.
I am,
but like Stranger Things, man. I mean, do you know what I mean? Like you had me.
Yeah.
But now I'm sitting here thinking about like, just look at that. Think about $80.
Yeah. See, when you put it that way, that's what gets
like
me.
Just think about your value. I hate to say this because I obviously respect everyone at Playmates. I think that they need to do better. I think a lot of people at Playmates would tell you. I'm not convinced that everyone at Playmates is rolling this out and going, love it.
Yeah.
I'm just a huge fan. They're probably like, oh my God, I wish we could have done better with this. I wish we could have done better with that.
Yeah.
Take that $80 and go to Target or whatever and spend that $80 on NECA and come home and put it next to it and tell me what you got.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
And I understand they're in different ballparks. I understand that they're aiming to different crowds. I get all that. So before you get all like, oh, well, he's just, adult collector. He needs everything to be photo real Darren McGavin. So like, nah, man, like I'm not honestly really stuck up about that. I buy what looks good.
Right.
Like I just buy what looks good.
Yeah.
And as an adult collector, money is not super an object to me at this price point.
Yeah.
But when I look at what I get for $80,
it's true.
And I take that $80, hell, throw $10 on, I got 3 NECA figures.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like think about that. You'd get 3 NECA figures.
Yeah, instead of
versus
when you run the
4,
numbers, it's a different thing.
And you got 2 turtles and then 2 Stranger Things figures from last season.
Yeah.
That don't look like the characters and come with very confusing accessories. And that's what you get. So I understand you're in a different market set, like you're going after a different crowd, but you are in the same market,
right?
Like you are,
Yeah.
well, you're not physically next to NECA, like in a Target, for example,
Right.
but I think that's probably to their benefit, because if they were, that'd be unfortunate.
Yeah.
But like you look at Marvel Black Series, you look at stuff like that, and I'm sorry,
yeah,
like the stuff they are next to. So
yeah.
To wrap up on this one though, it was also announced, not really reported everywhere, but if you look in the right place, it was announced what they're going to come out with next.
Oh yeah.
And that will be the second wave. That's going to be available, I believe, for pre-order in February. That is going to feature Donatello with Lucas,
okay,
and Michelangelo with Dustin.
Interesting. Man.
And I guess I'll look forward to trying to figure out. Dustin's going to be rough.
Yeah.
Dustin's going to be so rough. And I hate to say it, but Lucas could be borderline offensive.
Yeah.
I just don't like how do you make Dustin look like Dustin if the facial sculpts or whatever are what we're seeing here?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I've seen some company made, one of the higher end companies made a Lucas figure, and he looks good by standards.
Awesome.
But it's uncanny valley area though, where you're like, that's a little too Lucas, if you know what I'm saying. It's just like, it just looks strange. Well, pardon the pun, but yeah, there's that. And what else was I going to say? There was something else that I was going to say about this, but it totally escaped me. Oh well. But that again.
Yeah. So look forward to in February.
Yeah.
In 2023, seeing more season 3 Stranger Things pack-ins.
Right. And I remember. I was going to say, Playmates, if you want my money, give me a Steve Harrington figure. That's what I'm saying. That's what everyone really wants. Because
everyone wants that. Everyone wants that. But like, you know, I mean, Steve Harrington is going to look like Sleeve Brereton. You know what I'm saying? He's going to look like you got him at the flea market,
at the dollar store.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just step it up. Like it's unfortunate. I love the crossover. I love the idea. The box design's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just gonna need a little more if I was gonna put my my monies on that.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. So, well, speaking about things we're going to put our money on,